Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Day After Podcast, a series on the YouTube channel The Jestour. I am here with Michael.
Hi, everybody.
And we have watched several movies together. Some of them very high art. Some of them are Skies Over Berlin. And some of it is really, really campy, random 80s crap. You have shown me some disturbing movies and some royally fucked up movies. I don't think any of them will ever top 1989's Little Monsters.
This is...
Oh my lord.
This is my Monsters, Inc.
So we've seen other monster movies. We saw Monster Squad. Love Monster Squad.
Which I love.
Adore Monster Squad. We've watched some other random 80s stuff together.
Yeah.
Surf ninjas, most ninjas. But Little Monsters is something different.
This is a movie that I watched repeatedly as a little kid, and I haven't seen this perhaps since I was like 10, around 10-ish years old. I remember a movie of whimsy and fantasy and fun. I come back to it. Holy shit, this movie is fucked up.
Yeah, it is. So here, I'm going to describe the following real things that totally happen in this movie. Howie Mandel monster wags his tongue at a 10-year-old girl.
In a cunnilingus way.
Yes. Two parents get actually divorced and have to have this conversation with their kids. One kid complains to a slightly overweight, larger male that his knees hurt. And this larger male says, boy gets whatever he wants.
And then decapitates.
Said boy.
And just a lot of... just like
Howie Mandel pees into a kid's bottle that he then drinks at lunch the next day. These are all weird, real things that happened.
And just a lot of, inappropriate touching and no respect for any distance.
No, okay, number one, Howie Mandel. Let's talk about Howie Mandel.
Oh, first, okay, with the plot of this movie is monsters under the bed are real. They are the reason why you're always accused of stuff by your parents when something's wrong and something in the house is broken or missing or fucked up. And you're blamed for it. It's the monster's fault.
Yes, it's not anything you did.
They are trying to make your life a living hell. But if you're a special brand of child, they want you to join them under the bed in this magical underworld of total freedom where you can do whatever the fuck you want. But the price is you have to turn into a monster.
Yes, if you stay there past sunrise, you turn into a monster yourself, which doesn't sound too weird until you look at all of the monsters in this underworld, and you're like, oh my gosh, these were all kids once. That's why it's called Little Monsters.
So, this little monster, played by Howie Mandel, his name is Maurice, targets Brian, played by Fred Savage.
Yes.
And at first, it's just... at first, you think it's just this kid. He likes the kid and he wants to make a friend, but then you realize, oh no, that Maurice has been like targeting this kid.
Yes, yeah, and monsters are frequently like they're shown in the world to scare kids. Like that's what they do because they think it's fun, but they're actually up there to find these kids and bring them down to the underworld to serve this boy. And we'll get to boy,
because he wants to be. Your pal. Your best pal.
Your pal. And I need to show all my front teeth when I say the word pal.
I need to really test the makeup around my face. Anyway.
So there's very subtle, this kind of subtle, not subtle, like it's blatant but never commented on. Is that a fair?
It's filled with insinuations of
violence.
Child abuse, and just.
And just very, really
dysfunctional
creepy
families.
Yeah.
But played off like this movie, I think, is not aware of its tone.
Yeah. Well, like, and then we've talked with 80s movies before. That is a problem.
Yes. I could imagine someone writing this script and imagining total whimsy and fantasy. Because on paper, a lot of this stuff is whimsy and fantasy.
Yeah.
But then the director and the set designer and the makeup department, and also the way that some of the actors are directed took this in a totally different direction.
And it comes off as creepy and weird and just royally fucked. Like, there are several insinuations where you're like, okay, is this funny or is this molestation? Like, and you can't tell, and that's terrifying.
Like, or kids do the darndest things. They're gonna get grounded or beaten. I can't quite tell.
Yeah, oh yeah. In that little montage where Fred Savage and Howie Mandel, they go around and they're like, oh, we painted on this kid's face and we drew on this kid's wall and everything. And the very next scene, these kids are getting yelled at by their parents, and some of them look legitimately terrified. Like they're gonna get struck, and you're just like, what the fuck?
The shenanigans happen. Maurice lures Brian more and more into the fun of the monster life, and then Brian starts to find out that he's turning into a monster. He's getting a little shorter. He's losing weight, and he's really sensitive to light. And sometimes he disappears when the strong light happens. Randomly. So he removes himself from the life, and then this disgusting, bulky bully of a monster. What's his name?
It's insinuated that this weird monster is Boy.
It's Boy's monster.
But it's not him. Yeah. So it's just this little
partner.
This overweight man who talks to that kid in a really creepy tone.
Then kidnaps Brian's little brother, and then the gang has to get together for a rescue mission.
Yes. In standard 80s Goonies fashion.
Yeah, they suit up and they get all their giant powered flashlights.
And we're gonna beat magic with science. This has a PG rating. How does this get away with a PG rating?
This is a PG rating?
Yeah, this has at least 7 shits.
4 of which
and a couple dammits.
Like 4 of the shits are in a row.
Yeah.
Howie Mandel
does not stop talking. Ever.
It feels like he looked at Michael Keaton's performance in Beetlejuice and said, not enough. Gotta ramp it up.
Gotta ramp that up to like 20.
Get it, got it, get it, need it, get it, shut the fuck up.
He never stops talking. He never stops moving. He really looks like somebody who is high on cocaine. And like we make that joke, but like you watch this character move and you're like, holy shit.
Because if he's not, like he is covered in leather. He has got to be a sweating, like there's rubber and leather all over him.
Yeah.
He is a sweating mess. He does not stop moving.
Yeah.
It comes across a little bit as like, please laugh.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, laugh.
Yeah. And so you have this weird, creepy tone and you're like, oh, actual stakes, like kids getting beaten, kids getting kidnapped. And they're always like, in between those is Howie Mandel making dumb puns.
It's like, hey, got a light? Or need a light,
you need a light, or it's just a drill.
Jesus fucking Christ!
And you're just like, whoa! This movie has no idea what its tone is.
And as we're like filling a child's apple juice bottle with piss, that kid touched glass that touched Howie Mandel's penis.
Yeah. Well,
as that's happening, we also have this. We turn to these scenes where the parents are getting divorced behind the scenes.
Yeah, like the kids are constantly hearing them fighting behind their closed door of like oh yeah, I bring my salary home, what more do you want? And she's like, well, your salary is all I get. And I'm like, was that a sex reference in a 1989
like
kids
Mr.
movie?
I always have a headache? Holy shit. What the fuck?
And like as
and that's never resolved.
No. Fred Savage is trying to work out his feelings with this chick Kirsten, who has a cactus she is growing that is very obviously not a cactus.
Like nowhere close to a cactus.
And so, but yeah, he's trying to figure out like, oh my gosh, I'm becoming a monster. Also, I kind of like this chick. In the middle of all of this, his dad comes upstairs and he's like, son, we need to go have a talk.
Yeah, it's 10 p.m. But I'm leaving.
Yes.
Whoa.
I'm gonna move and live in the city for a while. They're just like, okay. And the one scene where Howie Mandel actually does shut up.
That is poignant. Where
that is
Maurice
a really good
just
scene.
Kind of keeps moving, but he doesn't. He just goes
Let's go have one more trip in the underworld. Bye.
Yeah. Then he basically goes, well, let's drown your sorrows in kids
Mischief.
drug.
Yeah.
Just one more fix, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's snort broken glass. And like afterwards, we listen to we watch kids play this game, and again, 80s soundtracks that don't understand the tone of their movie.
Yeah.
Where I love the sound of broken glass.
Yeah, all these monsters are playing Monster Ball, in which they essentially like are hitting baseballs into dishes and fish tanks and stuff they've stolen that they then put back in the house so the kids get in trouble. And this 80s like vampin' rock tune is playing in the background of like, I love the sound of broken glass.
I'm trying not to sound like, oh man, kids movies in the 80s. But there is this quality of 80s children's movies that I like, where there's darker undertone to them, where you don't notice it as a child, but you are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
no, I definitely feel that.
It's throughout so many of these movies of this decade, and it's kind of like this little marker for you when you're older.
Yeah.
Just to come back, that like you'll notice that there's some dark shit and references that we're leaving for you. It's not for you now. It's for you later. And that's like, the stuff I remember.
Yeah.
I remember this movie fondly. It did mess with me, but I loved it, and I just paid attention to the fun parts.
Yeah, and it's weird, you know, like with 90s kids movies, 90s and 2000s kids movies, which is what I grew up with. There's like little like subtle sex jokes, and it's like this little 2-minute segment of like, oh, this is for the adults who are in the theater with their kids, like not children getting beaten.
It's kind of bad, yeah.
And it's just like it's so like all the campy treating kids as adult stuff in the 1980s. This movie turns all of that up to like 11.
And there is a theme to it, where the theme is grow up. And I kind of appreciate the message there, that like just staying a kid forever is actually awful. Bad.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Staying a kid forever, a grown man that's like a child, is a horrible thing.
Yeah.
Also kind of violent. I more appreciate the message now that I'm an adult and I realize how fucked up this movie is. I'm not going to say I don't know if it's a good movie. It has... Yeah,
it's hard to talk... It's hard to describe this movie in terms of like quality. Because you're like, it's not bad. It's not like, oh, I'm wasting my life watching this movie. But at the same time, you are uncomfortable throughout. Pretty much every scene leaves you just like... As a
30-year-old now watching this, I am severely uncomfortable. But I remember as a teenager, when I would hear about that criticism of, oh, it makes adults feel uncomfortable when they're watching something they think is supposed to be a kid movie, and going, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Which... I don't want my criticism to rest on, oh, it's uncomfortable.
No, and that's not the case. It's just this movie is doing things that most movies even in the 1980s aren't doing.
It's juggling tones and themes and frequently dropping the balls.
Yeah.
And the hyperactive energy of it frequently comes across as oh, please laugh, please laugh, please laugh.
Yeah. Like, it's begging you to laugh, and it's also begging you, like, you can tell where there's parts in this movie where it like wants you to feel uncomfortable, but it's also expecting you to laugh.
It's like,
and you're just like,
it's not fun anymore.
Whereas, like, if I was a kid, I would laugh at that without even thinking about it.
And I did.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand when they go on this montage of fucking up other children's lives. I was like, that's funny. Oh, fuck.
I'm better than other kids.
And I guess that makes sense, because it's what's happening in the movie. The kids don't realize the repercussions of what they're doing. They don't consider what they're doing. They think it's just fun. And as a kid, I thought, oh, that's just fun.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, but he's turning into a monster. That's so bad.
That's a bad thing.
And now I'm like, that's a really blunt allegory of you just turning into a monster.
Yeah.
But that's another one of my childhood
gems.
Yes, whimsy childhood of Mikey. I'm sorry.
Well, again, it's like, you've shown me a lot of movies. Again, some of them are nice, high, like, Shakespearean art. Some of them are dumb, can't be fun, like Surf Ninjas. And then there's fucking whatever this is.
I don't know what this is.
I don't know what this is. This movie doesn't know what this is. Howie Mandel definitely doesn't know what this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
But I highly encourage you, don't just go watch like reviewers of this movie. Actually go watch this movie because it's hard to appreciate.
Oh, I see what your point is.
Without getting the whole thing. Because, you know, a lot of people say like, oh, it's uncomfortable and weird, but I kind of like it and I kind of get what it's going for and whatever. But like, it's really an experience to watch. It really is. Especially for someone like me who had no idea what the hell I was getting into.
Oh, yeah, I didn't really explain it to you, did I?
No, you were just like, a kid moves to a new town and goes under the bed and meets Monsterland. I'm like, oh, okay, fun. Sounds great.
Not exactly Mike Wazowski.
But guys, that has been our take on Little Monsters. Join us next time for, please God, something else.